With a net worth of over 250 million, it's no secret that Drake has bought a lot of crazy things over the years, like when he got 2 gold chains with Tupac's face on them. So today we'll be looking at the craziest things Drake has ever bought. Let's get into it. Number 1. Drake's plane. When you're one of the most famous rappers in the world, it's easy to be spotted in public, much less when you're flying in economy class. But Drake can't be seen flying with all the other brokies.
You're broke! You're fucking poor!
So he decided he was gonna get himself his own plane, a Boeing 767 from the Canadian plane manufacturer Cargojet. The plane's original price was $100 million, but after all the customizations made to it, it was now valued at $180 million, meaning the customizations alone were $80 million. So the next time you think renovating a house costs a lot, just look at Drake's plane. Drake first got his mega mansion with wings back in 2019, and he didn't hesitate to show everybody the custom paint job it was getting, mainly because it was designed by Off-White CEO Virgil Abloh, RIP.
Near fatal shooting, but he couldn't survive a second. Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
On September the 7th, 1996, at 11:15 p.m., rapper Tupac Shakur was shot dead, and this news sent shockwaves worldwide. And fast forward to 2023, people are still trying to keep his memory alive.
I knew he was only human, and he represented through his music like no one before.
Including Drake, because in 2023, Drake bought Tupac's gold crown ring, the ring that was synonymous with Tupac, and this was the ring he wore to his last MTV Music Awards appearance. The ring was said to be valued at $200K, but Drake eventually spent over $1 million on the ring, and in many interviews, Drake talked about how much love he actually had for Tupac.
We all sit there and read all this negative stuff, I think he was somebody who genuinely was a free spirit. He did not care, and he just did what he felt. And I wish I could have a little more Pac to my persona.
But his love didn't end there, because he would eventually commission not 1 but 2 diamond chains with Tupac's face on them, each costing $300K, meaning Drake paid $600K just to have Tupac's face on his chest.
What the fuck?
Drake's gold Jordan 10s. As one of the biggest performing artists on the globe, Drake really needs to look the part, especially on stage. That's why Drake spends millions on his outfits, mainly his feet, because back in 2018, Drake commissioned solid gold Air Jordan 10s. The artist that made them, Matt Senna, said he chose the Jordan 10s because they were one of the best designs out there, and to be honest, he was kinda right. The shoes were also a collaboration with Drake's overall label, which is the same owl we talked about earlier, and the shoes cost Drake over $2.1 million. But the shoes are more likely to end up in his trophy case than in his closet because they weigh more than 100 pounds, so even if Drake wanted to wear them, he wouldn't be able to. But I don't know about you, but if I had that 2.1 million, I'd shop at Walmart and keep the change. By now I'm sure you already know that Drake doesn't skimp when it comes to luxury, and it's no different for his car collection, because once Drake finally blew up, he decided to get himself the craziest cars out there, starting with his Bugatti Veyron. But not just any old plain Bugatti Veyron, he got himself a Bugatti Veyron Sang Noir with a price tag of $2.2 million. And because there were only 12 ever made, this makes Drake the only Canadian owner alive to ever own it. But it doesn't end with the Bugatti, because he eventually got himself 7 other supercars, including a $500K Lamborghini Aventador and a Mercedes-Benz Landaulet. And there were only 99 units of the car ever made, and other owners include LeBron James. So it's no wonder that the car cost Drake over $1 million. But as they say, the more the merrier. That's why Drake got himself a Ferrari LaFerrari for another $1 million. But to be honest, any random weirdo can get a Ferrari. And Drake knows that. That's why he called up Devil Motors and got himself the Devil 16. Only 1 unit of the car was ever made, making this one of the most rarest cars in the world, and also one of the fastest cars Drake owns because it has a top speed of 350 miles per hour. And it didn't come cheap because Drake had to pay over $2 million for the car. But the craziest thing is that he doesn't even drive the car because it's mostly seen in his SUVs like his chrome heart Rolls-Royce Cullinan. But that isn't his only Rolls-Royce because he also has a Mansory Rolls-Royce Phantom with the oval owl logo on the bonnet, so Drake didn't mind paying a cool $1 million for his owl car. But when you spend millions on cars, you cannot be stingy with the houses, and this is something that Drake knows very well. That's why he got himself an $80 million mansion in Beverly Hills. The crib has 10 bedrooms, and don't ask me why, cause it also has 22 bathrooms. And he also opened up about how he bought a mansion in LA and how he ended up buying his neighbors' houses too because they kept complaining about all the noise from his parties. But his biggest house is back home in Canada, where he bought himself a $100 million mansion. The mansion has an indoor swimming pool, and when he wants to ball out, he also has a full-on basketball court. Not to mention that he also has a spa, and of course, his recording studio, and a movie theater for when he wants to binge on cash flow. So, subscribe, cause I know Drake would. And now it's time for Drake's biggest purchase, which is his gambling addiction. By now, I'm sure that you know that Drake loves playing sports, and the same goes for gambling, because Drake has been known to bet crazy amounts of money on the UFC, like when he lost $2 million betting on Israel Adesanya at UFC 281. And that wasn't the only time. Apparently, Drake has lost so many bets that UFC fighter Dustin Poirier asked Drake to stop betting on athletes because of his so-called bad luck.
Embarrassing.
But Drake does have some success in the world of gambling because on the live stream, he once won over $17 million on one roulette spin. So I guess all's well that ends well. Subscribe.